Think about this. For 40 years, your entire financial life has been governed by one simple rule: save as much money as you possibly can. You skip the expensive lattes, max out your 401k, watch the stock market, ups and downs, and finally you made it. You hit your retirement number. But then Monday morning comes, you don't go to work, and suddenly you realize something terrifying. Nobody ever taught you how to actually spend it. Transitioning from saving money to spending money is one of the most psychologically jarring things you will ever do. For decades, seeing your bank balance go up meant you were winning. Now, your bank balance is only going to go down. If you don't have a plan, that reality can induce absolute panic. You might freeze up and refuse to enjoy your hard-earned money. Or worse, you might make a critical investing mistake that destroys your lifestyle. First, we have to address the massive mental and emotional shift that occurs the moment you hand in your retirement papers. In the financial world, we call your working years the accumulation phase. For 4 decades, your financial goal was beautifully simple: buy high-quality assets, let the magic of compound interest do its work, and watch your total net worth grow. Your success metric was a rising line on a chart. But the moment you retire, everything flips upside down. You enter the decumulation phase. Suddenly, your primary source of income, your paycheck, disappears. Your new goal is no longer to grow your pile of cash. It is to safely distribute it to fund your life. I like to think of this transition like climbing Mount Everest. Getting to the summit is a massive achievement that represents your working years and hitting your retirement savings target. But if you talk to professional mountaineers, they will tell you that the vast majority of climbing accidents and even deaths do not happen on the way up. They happen on the descent. Why? Because on the way down, you're exhausted, your resources are limited, and gravity is working against you. In financial terms, your descent is threatened by a devastating mathematical reality known as sequence of returns risk. This is the single biggest threat to a newly retired portfolio, yet almost nobody talks about how it actually works. To understand this, let's look at two hypothetical retirees, Retiree A and Retiree B. Both retire with a $1 million portfolio and both plans to withdraw $50,000 a year. Over a 20-year retirement, both of their portfolios experience the exact same average annual return of 6%. You would think they end up with the exact same amount of money, right? Not even close. Retiree A has the misfortune of retiring into a bear market. In their first 3 years, the stock market drops by 10%, 12%, and 5%. Because they need money to live, they are forced to sell their stocks while they are down, just to get their $50,000 annual income. Retiree B has the good luck of retiring into a bull market. In their first 3 years, the stock market gains 12%, 10%, and 8%, even though the average returns over their entire 20-year retirement end up being identical. Retiree A runs completely out of money by year 14. Meanwhile, Retiree B's portfolio finishes with over $1,500,000. This is the brutal truth of the decumulation phase. When you get your returns matters just as much as what those returns are. If you hit a bad sequence of years early on, your portfolio can get so severely depleted that it can never recover. This mathematical risk creates an intense psychological barrier. Many retirees develop what we call frugality paralysis. They are so terrified of sequence of returns risk and running out of money that they refuse to spend their savings on the very experiences they saved for. They live like they are still on a tight budget, even though they have $1 million in the bank. So how do we solve both the mathematical threat of sequence of returns risk and the psychological fear of spending your own money? We don't just leave all our money at the mercy of the stock market, and we definitely don't park it all in a checking account where inflation eats it alive. Instead, we use a classic, highly effective framework called the 3-bucket strategy. The easiest way to organize your money in retirement is to divide it into 3 distinct buckets based on when you will need to spend it. This gives you ultimate peace of mind because you always know exactly where your next grocery bill or vacation fund is coming from, regardless of what the stock market is doing today. Let's break them down. Bucket 1. This is your immediate income bucket. It should hold 1 to 3 years worth of your living expenses minus what you already get from guaranteed income like Social Security or a pension. Because you need this money soon, it should be kept in ultra-safe, liquid places. Think high-yield savings accounts, short-term certificates of deposit, or treasury bills. The goal of Bucket 1 is not growth. The goal is certainty. If the stock market drops 30% tomorrow, you don't care, because your next 3 years of living expenses are sitting completely safe in cash. This keeps you from being forced to sell stocks during a market downturn. Bucket 2. This bucket is for money you will need in years 3 to 7. Because this money has a little bit of time to sit, we want it to earn more interest than a standard savings account. But we still can't afford high volatility. This is where you put conservative income-producing assets. We're talking about high-quality corporate bonds, government bond funds, dividend-paying stocks, or even immediate annuities if that fits your plan. As Bucket 1 starts to empty out over the years, you will slowly refill it using the yield and maturing assets from Bucket 2. Bucket 3. This is your long-term bucket for money you won't touch for 7 years or more. Because this money has a long runway, its primary job is to grow and fight your portfolio's silent killer, inflation. This bucket should be invested heavily in equities like broad market index funds and real estate. Yes, this bucket will go up and down like a roller coaster. But because you have buckets 1 and 2, keeping you afloat for the next 7 years, you can afford to let bucket 3 ride out the storm and compound over time. One of the biggest mistakes retirees make is becoming too conservative. Out of fear, they put 100% of their money into cash or low-interest savings accounts. But doing this ignores your portfolio's silent killer, inflation. If inflation is averaging 3% to 4% a year and your money is sitting in a checking account, earning 0.1%, you aren't actually protecting your wealth. You are slowly guaranteed losing purchasing power. That is why you must keep a portion of your money in growth assets, like we talked about in Bucket 3. Even at age 65, you may easily have a 25 or 30-year retirement ahead of you. Over 3 decades, inflation will cut the value of $1 in half. You need your money to grow just to stay in the same place. But remember, if most of your money is in a traditional 401k or IRA, every single dollar you withdraw is taxed as ordinary income. On top of that, once you reach age 73 or 75, the government forces you to start taking money out through required minimum distributions (RMDs), whether you need it or not. This can easily push you into a higher tax bracket and even increase your Medicare premiums.